If you look at functionalism, you have two types. So one is Malinowski's biocultural functionalism and the other is Radcliffe-Brown structural functionalism. He says that culture is an integrated whole and culture is there to meet the needs of an individual. He says that every social institution, it is again there to meet the needs of an individual, and this social institution consists of charter. That means it has got an objective, why it is present, what is the aim of it, and then you have the norm. So what are the rules that are there as a part of it, and there are people present in it, which is also known as personnel. So they are exchanging these things, they are moving from one place to another to establish social relationships, which is important for them. The name of the work is Crime and Custom in Savage Society. So there he talks about the crime, the customs and the savages. He tries to say that there they don't have any formalized mechanism, rather kinship obligations, reciprocity and customs that makes people obey things and follow rules of the society. We are going to look at functionalism. We are quickly revising the functionalism topic. So if you look at functionalism, you have two types, right? So one is Malinowski's biocultural functionalism and the other is Radcliffe-Brown structural functionalism. So as soon as you recall Malinowski's functionalism, what are the things that you get into your mind? So first, he says that culture is an integrated whole and culture is there to meet the needs of an individual. So it is a need fulfilling mechanism. So he tries to see culture as an integrated whole. What are integrated within the culture? There are traits and there are institutions. And these traits and institutions are related to one another. If you disturb one of them, it will affect the other. At the same time, it says that these are going to meet the needs of an individual. So he says there are three types of needs. That is the needs theory. One, you have primary needs, you have derived needs, then you have integrated needs. Okay, so primary needs are also known as biological needs. So which, as being a biological organism, you have certain needs, those needs are known as biological needs. Then from that you derive the needs, those are known as derived needs. Then you have integrated needs. Integrated needs are nothing but psychological needs, such as the fear, overcoming fear, anxiety. So you have the culture, magic, religion, which will help you overcome these psychological needs. Okay, this is the need theory and you have the criticism to it. And the other contribution of Malinowski is with respect to social institution. He says that every social institution, it is again there to meet the needs of an individual, and this social institution consists of charter. That means it has got an objective, why it is present, what is the aim of it, and then you have the norms. So what are the rules that are there as a part of it, and there are people present in it, which is also known as personnel. Then these lead to the activities. Okay, so sorry, this personnel and norms, they need the apparatus, material apparatus, and this, using this they'll perform activities and that will give rise to function. For example, you take marriage. Marriage has got some objective to exist, to meet certain needs, and within the marriage you have rules and norms and you have people participating in it. You have material apparatus, right? So in every marriage you have different types of apparatus, material aspect of it, and then everything is doing some activity and that activity is resulting in the function. So social institution, he has analyzed it and he has talked about it in this format. Then what are the other contributions? Malinowski has done field work and he led to the bringing up of participant observation within the anthropology discipline, right? So he studied the Tobriand Islanders. So there he has noticed there is circular economy that is happening. So there are different islands and these islands, they exchange necklaces and armbands. The exchange necklaces and armbands. So these necklaces and armbands are made up of shells. So now for exchanging shells, they are moving from one island to other island. That is thousands of miles, and they are taking the risky voyage. And when the Western people saw it, they saw it's an irrational exercise. There is no point in traveling so much to exchange these things. But when Malinowski has studied, he tried to point out the socio-cultural relevance of it, saying that Western economic principles, Western economic principles or the classical economic principles, that is, man is homo economicus. That means man chooses the things very wisely to make the maximum profit. So that is what the Western economic principle says. But Malinowski says that these principles cannot be applied to the indigenous society. When you are studying indigenous societies, this cannot be applied. So when you study indigenous societies, these things cannot be applied. He says that they have their own economic pattern. So their economy runs based on the socio-cultural aspect. He says that economy is linked with the society, family, political organization, then religious organization. So it is not isolated, it is linked with them. So they are exchanging these things, they are moving from one place to another to establish social relationships which is important for them. Social relationships which is important for them. So suppose there is a crisis in one of the island. Now they don't have food, but whom are they going to depend upon? They are going to depend upon the other island people. So now if they have good social relations, tomorrow they will be having food in times of crisis. However, Malinowski's findings have been criticized. This his fieldwork has been criticized because first thing, he did not take women's point of view. Woman has been neglected. Okay, women's point of view has been ignored, and this has been highlighted by Annette Wiener. Okay, so there are other people also who has given counter perspectives to what Malinowski has said. So I think you all people know that there has been a question that anthropological perspectives on colouring, and that we have already discussed. So I'm not discussing it again, right? So now this is with respect to colouring, and there are other works. So crime, customs, and savage. Okay, so he tried to understand how law and order is maintained in the simple societies. What do you think? How law and order is maintained in simple societies? So you just think that how the law and order is maintained there. So if you notice, among the indigenous communities, law and order is not based upon the centralized institutions. Rather, it is based upon the traditional customs. Okay, so crime and custom in savage society, right? So the name of the work is Crime and Custom in Savage Society. So there he talks about the crime, the customs, and the savages. So he tries to say that there they don't have any formalized mechanism, rather kinship obligations, kinship obligations, reciprocity, and customs. These are the things that makes people obey things and follow the rules of the society and maintain law and order in the society. That's how, through these things, the social control is established in the past. And there are various other works with respect to Malinowski, which you can read. Okay, so we have already discussed them. So I'm giving a quick revision. So while talking about Malinowski, you should utilize the scholar in Unit 3, Economic Organization, when you talk about reciprocity, how the collaring is doing. So, in one way, they are exchanging the red necklaces, in the other way, they are exchanging the white armbands. That means they are giving and taking. Here, what you notice is balanced reciprocity. So, when you write about economy, you have to write this, and at the same time, when you write about political anthropology, so there, while talking about law and justice in simple societies, or you are talking about social control among the simple societies, in that case, you can utilize these works of Malinowski. Okay, so Malinowski overall is trying to convey that whatever that is there in the culture, so whatever the social institutions that are there, they are there to meet the needs of an individual, to meet the needs of an individual. Okay, and the social institutions are also there to meet the needs of an individual. Therefore, everything that is there, it is doing some good thing and it is ensuring the social cohesion and stability with the culture. So, this is the ultimate conclusion of Malinowski. But, however, there are critics or critical analysis. First thing, Malinowski's functionalism, or we have already seen the functionalism as a school, they came to oppose the diachronic approach. That means diachronic approach means you are studying the history and you are trying to study the timeline from the past to present. But what functionalists say, they say that, see, you don't know the sources of history, whether they are true or not, whether they can be considered or not, whether they are manipulated or they might have been lost somewhere. So you don't have the exact resources to tell what happened in the history. So that's why you stop thinking about history, focus on what is there here and now. So that they call it as synchronic approach. So this is the premise of functionalism. And Julian Stewart, in his theory of cultural change, he tries to criticize functionalist theory of Malinowski for being ahistorical in nature. So Julian Stewart believes that it is the environment and cultural ecology that is going to influence the evolution process or what is going to happen. So without understanding what is their environment and how it has changed, you cannot understand what exactly the culture is. So that's why he has criticized. And if you take Edmund Leach, Edmund Leach has criticized that Malinowski considers that society is static, it is not changing, whatever that is there, it is there to do some good for the society. But however, Edmund Leach says that the societies are not static, rather dynamic, they are changing with time and they are manipulated, and it is not always for the good, but at the same time, there are conflicts also within the society. So you notice the conflicts as well. So it is not always static. And if you look at Radcliffe-Brown, Radcliffe-Brown has been one of the critic of Malinowski. He says that you are trying to focus on individual alone. but ultimate intention of the anthropology should be on studying the society. So how individual needs are met you are focusing upon, but that's not right. You should focus upon how the societal needs are met. That's what you learn in the Radcliffe-Brown structural functionalism. So he says that shift your focus from individual to society, and individual focus is not right to understand the broader perspective of the society. And if you look at James Ferguson, okay, so James Ferguson do not understand that why the focus of the function of the society is from the internal aspect alone. You are looking, there is an individual, there is a cultural trait, and this trait is meeting the needs of this individual. But why are you not focusing upon the external factors? Because in the field work that he has done, when he was talking about the Tobriand Islanders, there was colonialism, and at that point of time, what they used to know, what they used to do is they used to lure the people by giving them tobacco, and at the same time they used to punish them as well. And because of this, the tribes or indigenous people of Tobriand Islanders has underwent so much of change. The tribal chief used to lose their political power, their influence they have lost. So these all things he did not discuss. He is only trying to see from inside. So that's why his fieldwork is also criticized. This question has already come, so I'm not emphasizing. You may be already knowing it. If you don't know, just comment. I'll take another class regarding the impact of fieldwork and what is the criticism of Malinowski's fieldwork. Okay, so here James Ferguson says that you're not focusing on the external aspect, the broader socio-cultural and political impacts of outside on the society. You're just trying to understand the functions that traits meet internally. But how are these traits influenced from external factors? You're not considering. So these are the critiques to the Malinowski. But however, you can conclude by saying that despite the criticism and the less relevance of need theory in today's context, okay, so need theory has been criticized and need theory is also problematic. Despite that, Malinowski is considered as one of the most important anthropologists for the reason the way he has changed anthropology by bringing participant observation method, which has been borrowed by other disciplines as well. Even today, it has been used. So, for that reason, Malinowski stands as a stalwart in the historical anthropology and the earlier anthropologists. So, that's what you can use to conclude. And this is with respect to functionalism. And now we'll be looking at the structural functionalism.